All right, what up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Carlos Pineda, who is a real estate investor and entrepreneur. Carlos, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing fine, doing fine. Thank you so much for having me here. It's only my second time on the podcast, so definitely, just bear with me. Have a little bit of patience. But yeah, man, it's great to be here. Honored to be here as well. So yeah, man, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. We love to have you. And we also like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah. Well, so as you said, I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur. I really love the whole, business side of things. I have a few things here and there that I'm, currently working on, a few businesses here and there, different countries. But yeah, and so for fun, man, there's a lot of stuff that I like to do for fun. Uh, this is a guilty pleasure that I have. What I like, man, just sitting down and watching Netflix, like a marathon right now. I'm currently watching this one. It's Manifest. It's just, right on Netflix. Which I understand that my time probably could, be used in different activities, but I just love, man, just like going through one entire season at once. And I like, to do just fun stuff, a little bit of this. I like swimming, hiking, that sort of stuff.
Okay. There we go. So every now and then, binging some Netflix and then swimming and hiking.
Yeah, man. I live not too far away from the beach, about an hour from the beach. So I definitely like going to the beach. Just kayaking, swimming. I do like some hiking here and there, climbing a few mountains and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of one of the things that I do. I don't really have that much time to do it, but whenever I do, man, I definitely enjoy it.
There we go. I love it. And let's jump into your motivation. What would you say gets you up and gets you going every day?
Oof. Wow, man, that's really not an easy question. And so sometimes it's hard to find that out. I think it changes over time. My motivation right now, what gets me going right now, is I want to build some. I want to create some sort of legacy. I want to create that generational wealth. That this is talking business wise. And then, my personal life, what gets me going is pretty much my family, man. I'm really family oriented. I'm really family man. So, just making sure that my family is taken care of and everything else is really, one of the biggest fuels that I have to wake up every morning and say, hey, man, let's go at it, right? And, also thank God that, I like working and I like doing business. So definitely, I love it, man. I love going out at every morning and saying, okay, so what can I do today to bring in new business? What can I do today to, make a difference? And just trying to, build that financial freedom for me and my family. It's pretty much my biggest why.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. I would say financial freedom is like one of the biggest first steps towards really living a very fulfilling free life, right? Like until you don't have to work for money and you can choose everything you're doing, you're really kind of a slave to it. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, and it's sad that it's like that, but unfortunately it is like that, and I'm not gonna be the one that changes it. And you know what? And money's definitely not the most important thing, but it definitely helps you. It definitely improves. Having that financial freedom, that stability, definitely improves your quality of life, relationship with your family. It allows you to have more time with them. So definitely, exactly being able to build something, that can allow me to retire early, just enjoy life without having to worry about, you know, the other aspects of life. So that's definitely my goal. I would love to achieve that in the next 10 years or so. Hopefully, we'll see.
Hey, we're going to get you there sooner than that.
Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and jump into your dreams and goals now. You've talked a little bit about it already, financial freedom for yourself and your family. Are there any other goals or dreams that you want to talk about?
Oh yeah. Um, there's a few things that I love to accomplish. Yes, obviously financial freedom. It's one of the biggest ones that I have. Um, Dreams. I would love to stay healthy. You know, I used to have like a lot of overweight when I was growing up, and so that really stuck with me a lot. So, since 2017, I've been kind of, going at it, hitting the gym, doing diets. I actually lost around almost 80 pounds in like 5 months. Yeah, we're talking 2017, something like that. Then I had to leave my country due to, some different stuff that happened. And I moved around a lot, and at some point, I actually broke my back. So I was in bed rest for a long time, couldn't go to the gym, and it just kind of depressed me a lot. So I started eating a lot. So I gained a lot of weight again, and I've been slowly trying to get back into what I used to do. So definitely trying to stay healthy, trying to stay fit is one of my goals that I have right now. Going back to that healthy lifestyle is definitely something that I'm aiming for. Obviously, building my companies, having that legacies. Another thing that I'm trying to achieve. And I'm kind of a simple guy, man. I just wish like health for my entire family. Being able to do fun stuff with my family, being able to take care of them. I think that's probably my dream. I've always seen myself as kind of like as a protector. I like to take care of people. So having that ability, physically and financially, to care for my family is really one of my biggest whys. Yeah.
I love that. I'm a simple guy as well. I just want the financial freedom so that nobody can tell me I can't hang out with my kids.
Yeah. Because just because I'm not a morning person, and I know it's really cliche that everybody that's successful trying to be successful a morning person. I'm not a morning person, so waking up every day in the morning trying to go to a 9 to 5 and somebody telling me what to do. That's just really doesn't sit that well with me. And exactly, just having more time to enjoy with my wife, kids, family, and whatever. Especially because I don't see my family a lot. I live in a different country than my family, so I do enjoy that little time that I have, being able to travel more. Being able to have everything so on autopilot that I can, spend some time in my country, in different countries, just visiting pretty much all of my family, which is scattered all over the world would be pretty nice. Yeah.
I got you. I got you. Well, awesome. So we got financial freedom for yourself and your family, staying healthy, health for your entire family, and just having the power to protect them. Does that sound right?
Yeah, the power, in all aspects of life. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I've always liked to protect people, and I used to be a fireman back in the day. So, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of just built in me, trying to, be there for
Yeah.
everybody. So yeah.
Do you have your financial freedom number? Like, is it an amount of money coming in every month, an amount like a nest egg in the bank account? Do you have your number? And would you be willing to share it with us?
Um, I think yeah, I mean, I think it really depends on some people. Probably if you would have asked me this when I was 18 years old, I would have said $1 million. Probably right now is way different than that. It's sadly higher.
Oh,
Um, and I don't know. Maybe when I reach that milestone, it's probably gonna be higher. I don't know. Maybe I probably would be higher. Right now, I would like to have at least enough money in the bank to kind of like take the decision of saying, hey, you know what, my monthly expenses are this to live the life that I want to live, right? The life that my family and I are used to, and I can just literally quit my job, quit working, quit whatever, and live for the rest. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm gonna live for another 50 years. Hopefully, uh, really without having to worry, and keeping that same lifestyle, and even including inflation probably. So kind of like if I'm saying my monthly expenses are X, then you know what, want to be able to have X amount of money in the bank that allows me to first cover for inflation and then cover for pretty much keeping the same expenses in my life. I like that. However, I'm not, rather than have it in the bank, I will probably try to see if there's a way that I can have it in investments. Just
yep.
try to see if I can build some sort of passive cash flow money coming in. So instead of saying, you know what, I want to have this amount of money in the bank, ideal it would be, okay, my expenses are X. I want to have 2 times X coming in monthly from cash flow, passive income, and then at least 10 years of I don't know whatever I'm spending a month in the bank. So having 2 times what I spend in a month come in without me having to work, passive, and then probably just have around 10 or 20, hopefully, in the bank. That will probably give me some really good peace of mind.
I love it. I love it. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the 2x number is great. And then having the 10 to 20x, whatever you spend monthly in the bank, is like the cherry on top, right? Like total peace of
Yeah.
mind at that point. You're 100% good.
That's,
Cool,
yeah,
man.
for now. I mean, and I'm saying, what I spend a month, because that way, if my expenses right now are this, if in the future they go higher, then those numbers need to change.
Yep.
That's a variable. So I'm kind of like just trying to build around that number, whatever that number is in any set point of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, if there were one or two people that you could meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take the next step towards hitting these financial freedom numbers and getting into the shape you want to get into, who would they be and how would they help you out?
Uh, that's a great question, and I've been thinking about it a lot. Uh, so this first one might be a little bit of controversial. Um, some people don't like him. Some people love him. I personally tend to love him way more than what I dislike him. It's Grant Cardone, especially since I'm in real estate. That's definitely somebody that I look up to. He might not be the most subtle guy, but then again, what in life is subtle, right? So people sometimes they just don't like hearing the ugly truth. And when somebody comes out there and just says it blatantly to your face, and it's blunt about it, people tend to dislike it. That's really how it is. I really would love to have him as a mentor. Hey man, at least, hey, you know what? Let me buy you lunch, man. Like, and just let me pick your brain, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So Grant Cardone, I think that he's built something amazing right now. With he's pretty much doing what, obviously, in a million larger scale. What I'm trying to do, which is he teaches. He has a Grant Cardone University. I also teach sales, some acquisitions teams, whatever. He has that Cardone Capital, just raising capital for bigger projects. We've been talking about trying to see if we can get our hands into that. He's also flipping whatever, doing pretty much all of that, right? So that's a huge role model and business wise. I would definitely say so. Somebody else that I would probably like to meet. I don't know, man. Probably. I've been thinking about this a lot, and part of me says, "Hey, you know what?" And I don't want to get too, religious or nothing like that, but I love to actually, get to know Jesus. Just ask him a few stuff, like, "Hey, man, uh, this is really the way that everything is supposed to be." You know how they used to talk in those songs. He's probably just gonna give us a riddle.
A
Yeah,
parable.
but I mean, yeah, he's probably just gonna tell me to do some, or just speaking whatever.
Yeah.
But just like ask him, hey, listen, man, like, is this all worth it? What? Just kind of like I would probably love to talk to Jesus and just trying to make some sense out of our daily living. So yeah, those are probably the two persons that I would probably like to meet for sure.
There we go. Grant Cardone and Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not putting them on the same shelf at all. I mean, don't get your hopes up, Grant Cardone. I'm just saying, it's yeah, man. It's just the two types probably of people. One is wise, they associated with peace, knowledge, and whatever, right, and safety. So kind of, and the other one is associated with boldness, going at it, business, and it's really in the industry that I'm in. So that's kind of what I think about it. Two completely different characters at all. But yeah.
There we go. There we go. I love it. Well, what are the most important one or two things that everyday people can do to help you accomplish your goals? So how can they help you become more healthy, and how can they help you do more real estate deals? Sally at the grocery store.
Pretty much. So how can other people help me?
Yeah. So we're talking, say you go meet Sally right now at the grocery
Yeah.
store. How can she help you get to your dreams?
Oh wow. Oh well, I will tell Sally, hey, you know what? Perhaps trust, like that. And I think that's really important. You gotta surround yourself with people that trust you, that believe in you, that has that motivation. You want to kill a big dream, tell it to a narrow-minded person. So yeah, this is a stranger, somebody you can do, but I think that the analogy is listen, man, surround yourself with people that believe in you, that trust you, that motivate you every day. So yeah, I mean, motivation, and I think that it's one of the most important things that a stranger can do. And and again, strangers, man, like just be kind, motivate people. If you find somebody, and you see that they're fighting for their goals and whatever, just be a motivation. You never know what you can do to somebody. You know what I mean? Like just try to, I don't know, uplift everybody. Just be, spread that positiveness all around. So yeah, I mean, if you're a stranger and you find somebody in the grocery store and you see him, he's trying to hustle, he's trying to make it happen, motivate that person, uplift. Does a great difference for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I love that. I think a kind word goes a long way, right?
Yeah, man, and it's especially in business, such a rough world sometimes that I don't care how tough you are. At some point, you burn out and just kind of need that I don't know that motivation. And the second thing that a stranger can do for me to achieve my goals, don't get in my way. I mean, if you're not gonna say anything kind, if you're not gonna say anything positive, if you're not gonna uplift somebody else, get out of the way. Right,
Yep.
right. Just get out of my way. The hell out of here. I don't need you. I don't need to deal with that negative, that negative mindset. And again, that's pretty much one of the things that I try to do. I try to, weed out people that I feel that don't vibe with me mindset wise. Just try to, surround myself with people that can, help me achieve my goals. Now, the rest of the things, you gotta take care of yourself, right? Putting in the work, getting money, getting, selling if you're selling something, getting clients, whatever. That's something that you gotta put the work in. You're not gonna ask a stranger to do that to help you find your dreams. What you can probably ask a stranger is, hey, listen, man, either you're gonna help, be of service, to your community or something, just get the hell out of here, and just make way because I'm coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. Well, now we're going to jump into our thriving three. And the first question is, what is your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one. Besides this podcast, of course.
Yeah. So my favorite podcast is one that's hosted by Jocko Willink. He's a Navy SEAL. I don't know if you know him. He
Yep.
has a podcast. It's called
All good?
Yes, I'm sorry about that. My computer just died and I had to plug it in. I'm the king of of that.
All
So
good.
yeah, I was saying
Uh, real
podcast
quick,
by
real quick. Let's be quiet for like 5 to 7 seconds because I'm going to have to edit out the pause.
Okay. Yeah. So that podcast by Jocko Willing, it's called Motivational Culture, something like that. It's on Spotify. I don't really recall the name by heart, but just put Jocko Willing, it's gonna appear. He's a Navy SEAL. So he basically teaches you, I mean, or lets you know a little bit of, what he learned in the military and how that helps him in his life, and and that how that mindset can help you in your everyday life. So that would be my favorite podcast. My favorite movie is The Founder. I don't know if you know that movie, The Founder. This guy of McDonald's.
I've seen clips of it and I've heard about it, but I've never seen it myself.
Oh no, you gotta go see it, man. It's some people like the guy, some people hate the guys, but it tells you, or you can get some valuables out of it. Well, the first valuable is that real estate is the is the business that you need to be in. But then again, he's like, hey, you know what? You may have an amazing idea, you may have an amazing product, but if you lack vision, if you lack, that drive, that fire, you're probably not gonna get anywhere. If it wasn't for him, probably McDonald's would have died with the McDonald's brothers, or their sons probably, but it definitely would not be what it is right now. Now that's just the movie. Nobody really knows how it really went down. Um, with what happened, probably his methods were not the best. Again, that's just the movie. But also, some learnings that you can get from it is, uh, the grind. That guy never stopped. He was doing a little bit of everything. He was on this, he was on that, he was on, doing this and that, and he never stopped. And he wasn't that young when he finally made it. So basically, I think that another teaching that we can get from it is, don't stop. Don't, if you fail at something, I mean, it's not a problem. Go at it again. And with me, that's really because I've been through some situations really where a lot of times I have to start over. A lot of times, like from scratch in a completely different country, whatever, with two like $20 in my pocket, like the song says. So seeing that and being like, hey, what, man, just be relentless, keep going at it, keep going at it, keep going at it. No matter how many times you fail, that's really I can relate to that. In my favorite book, uh, well, I want to say Harry Potter because it's the first book that I actually read, and how I got into reading books that you couldn't even force me to read any kind of book. I didn't like reading. Then I watched the Harry Potter movies and I really loved them. So I kind of like started, reading books because of Harry Potter. So I think credit to them. But in my personal life, I think there's a few ones that I like. Oof, favorite. I'm between Lone Survivor by Michael Luttrell and perhaps a little bit more cliche one, which is Outwit of the Devil.
Mm,
Yeah, this guy Napoleon Hill,
yep.
Outwit of the Devil. Yeah, so I'm between those two. Probably Outwit of the Devil. It's audience.
There we go. There we go. I love it. And what is one way you like to take care of yourself?
Ooh, wow. Well, I sometimes go to the gym. I try to hit the gym 3 to 4 times a week. Hopefully, a good week. Try to stay healthy. I try as much as I can to eat healthy, not eat that much junk food or whatever. And then probably sometimes I like to really decompress and just like mental health as well. I do take my rest days seriously. So usually on Saturdays I also work, but I mean on Sundays I do take them extremely serious. It's family day, be with family, and just enjoy activities, no work, whatever, because you gotta recharge batteries and also give your family some time. So I think that mental health wise, that's really one of the things that I do a lot. That downtime for me on the weekends, probably Saturday evening. Sometimes I go on dates with my wife, and then Sundays is family time. And just try to hit the gym during the weekdays. The weekdays is just really hectic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my little moment where I kind of like plug off.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. I got you. And what is one action step you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it to meet Grant Cardone?
Okay, I think keep doing what I'm doing, right? I'm currently in this point of my life, so I'm trying to build connections. I'm trying to do this, do that. I recently just partnered with two investors. We're starting a new investment
There we go.
this Monday. We're starting that, so yeah, pretty hyped about that. I literally just got off a phone call with another investor like 2 hours ago, and he was like, "Hey, listen, my man, do you think that you may give me around 1 hour of your time every week just to talk? Go, see what we're doing here, what we're doing in there, whatever, blah, 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 just help me out running because I'm kind of like a systems nerd. So I'm kind of like an automation guy, systems nerd really. So anything that I can automate, that I can create a system for, I do it. So I specialize also, in like sales funnels and workflows. So it's like, hey man, can I just pick your brain 1 hour per week? And I was like, hey, you know what? Yeah, it's a good connection to have. He's business and that. So I'm just kind of like building connections with different investors out there, uh, trying to get into syndications, trying to get into raising capital, bigger deals. And I guess that, as you go and as you start growing, um, eventually you will reach some levels, so eventually, right now, that's kind of what I'm trying to build relationships, which I think is a lot. I mean, I'm so down into building relationships that I might, not 100% sure yet, but I might get into a boxing match with Steven, well, not with Steven Morales, but with his, company, EFC Boxing. It's basically a boxing championship for entrepreneurs. So, but I mean, Steven Morales, I admire the guy. He's a straight up closer, a shark, a killer. He has the deal desk and all of that, right alongside with John Martinez and all those big guys in the industry. So he has this company, or he's hosting this entrepreneur boxing championship. Uh, I'm not gonna really fight him because we're like 100 pounds difference. But I'm risking getting my butt kicked, just kind of like go into the place and meet just a bunch of investors. And just kind of do that, try to see if we can get into bigger deals. And at one point we might even get a deal that's big enough that we can raise capital with Cardone capital. I don't know, man.
Maybe.
You never know. We can
You
even
never
sell it to him. I don't know.
We could. We could literally sell the portfolio to him.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, epic. I love how you think. I love how you think. Well, we got our last series of questions now, and they're going to require, honestly, a lot of pretext. So stick with me here, okay?
Got it. Okay.
So a lot of people have come on the podcast and they've said that the catalyst that helps people change from having a fixed mindset, not willing to accept help and not willing to accept change, to having a growth mindset, being willing to accept help and being willing to accept change, the catalyst that helps people make that switch is a personal choice that happens after either extreme inspiration or extreme desperation. Do you agree, disagree, have anything to add or subtract?
I agree. I agree. I agree on, yeah, inspiration or desperation. Sadly, human beings uh tend to learn more out of the bad than out of the good. It's like a child. You're like, hey, you know what? Don't touch that because it's gonna hurt you. You can say it a million times, you're still gonna do it. If he touches that one time and it hurts, like, okay, I'm not gonna do that again, right? So in my case, I think it was a little bit of desperation, perhaps. Used to be a combat medic in my country, and I had to leave because it got really bad. So I had to leave my country, go into a whole other country. Um, and then once I got into that country, I was barely getting my life together when I, broke my back into two pieces. I couldn't walk, I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. I was in bed rest. I lost my job because I didn't have medical benefits or anything like that. So I've always been pretty active. I've always been, my wife would say hard-headed or stubborn mule. I call it strong convictions. But I mean, yes, I think it's a difference of opinions. But yes, I'm like that, man. And having somebody help me to even go to the bathroom, I thought it was humiliated. I didn't have a single dime in my pocket. I was calling my mom, grown man calling my mom, asking for money. Hey mom, I'm on bed rest, whatever. I cannot do this. It was frustration for me. I was having PTSD. I was having nightmares and whatever. And yeah, it was the lowest point of my life. And then somebody said, "Hey, listen, man, I can give you a gig. It's calling people. They'll pay you an hourly wage, and you just gotta ask them if they want to sell their house. If they say yes, ask them a few questions. If they say no, just say goodbye." I was like, "Hey, man, whatever I can do for my home." So I started calling. I was getting paid like $3, $4 an hour or something like that. And then I figured, hey, and then I asked him, "Hey, listen, man, the guy who hired me, how are you doing this?" He was like, "Oh, you should do this and this and this and that." Oh, okay. All right. Do you need to be like currently in the States to do it? Because I was actually in Mexico at that time. He's like, "No, you can do it from anywhere in the world. I'm currently in Mexico as well. I have a permit." And I was like, "Okay, well, do I need to get out of my bed?" He was like, "I mean, probably, preferably if you want, but if you want, you can still do it in bed." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So it got that spark. So it was a little bit of different. I went from a moment of desperation watching him do it and say, "Hey, you know what? I can actually do this, right? I can file an LLC from my bed.
Yeah.
I can do all of this from my bed. I can't move right now, but I can do all of this from my bed. So what's the excuse? I have nothing but time right now, literally." So that's kind of how it started. So I went from a deep moment of desperation, sometimes even trying to take my life, to inspiration and say, "Hey, you know what? I want to do that, and I'm gonna do that." So I do agree with that, and I think I needed to add my 2 cents into it.
No, absolutely, Carlos. Thank you for sharing that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it's part of my growth. If somebody can be helped by that testimony, it's probably, hey, man, when you feel that you're at rock bottom, it's okay. There's no way but up, man. And just keep going at it. Keep going at it. Just
Yep.
one more day. One more day.
One
Yeah.
more.
So don't take that choice. Do one more day, please.
I love it. I love it. That is very encouraging. Thank you for sharing. Our
Hey, man,
next
anytime.
question is, given the same amount of extreme inspiration or extreme desperation, why do you think some people make the choice to change and others don't?
Mindset. Mindset. I've seen a lot of people that they go into a meeting or whatever and they come out hyped, saying like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and do it, and this, and that." But when it's time to put in action, they don't do it. So I think mindset and action. My mindset, for example, is that you need to take action. Right? I see people, and I'm religious and Catholic, right? I see people that, so I'm not mocking at all, but I see people that they pray God for a change. And I don't know, I mean, they're hoping that the sky is gonna, go open and, a few like, flying hands are gonna come down and give you $1 million. No, I mean, God will probably bless you if you put in the work.
Faith without works is dead.
Exactly. So if you put in the action. So it's like, hey, you know what? Um, there's a lot of things that go behind the curtains, right? So you can see you can see me closing a deal, over the phone with somebody, getting the purchase agreement signed. Oh, okay, that call probably lasted 20 minutes. Okay, that was great. I want to do that, right? And I'm good at sales, and you might even be good at sales and negotiating and talking to people. But you know what it takes to actually have that conversation? It takes a lot of hard work and grind. It takes a lot of building that funnel of 3 months prior, because usually the turnaround, at least in real estate, is 1 to 3 months. So I mean that's kind of the example that I could give. So you need, and some people get discouraged. You come in day one, you're doing your job, and you didn't see results that day. Day two didn't see results that day. Day three, and most people they quit. It's like going into the gym. You go to the gym, you're still lifting weights, and you're not automatically Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be like that. You gotta put in the work, consistency, take action, and be consistent about it. And after a few months, you're gonna start seeing, changes in your body. changes in your business, changes in pretty much everything. But I think that most people lack that mindset of being consistent, of thinking ahead, and yeah, that's pretty much what I think. And it's hard. I've been there a lot of times where I give up, where I gave up, and I was like, oh man, I gave up. Imagine if if I still will be doing this. And exactly that moment of inspiration, desperation helped me also change my mindset and say, hey, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up. I know that if I do this long enough, results will come. So I just gotta be patient and trust the process. Trust the process, trust what you're doing. Consistency.
There we go. I love it. And so some people need a smaller amount of desperation or inspiration to make that change, to start being consistent. And others need a larger, more consistent amount of inspiration or desperation. What do you think establishes that threshold? And can it be influenced?
I think so, because I was gonna say how you were brought up, how you were raised. It's funny, my dad, he was an old school kind of guy. Like, what, go to college, get good grades, get your master's degree, find a nice paying job, 9 to 5, retire at 60. That's it, right? So my mom also, she used to be like that. And she was the like regional manager of a big company in Latin America. And then one day she quit, right? She quit because she didn't like it, and she started her own law firm. And at first we had no money, man. It was tough. It was really tough. And I remember I was like 14 years old, and I was asking her, "Hey, mom, why don't you take a job?" Because she was being offered jobs. Why don't you take that job? Why don't you take that job? We're starving. We don't have anything to eat. She was like, "Nope. I'm trusting my company. I'm trusting my company. I'm trusting my company." Fast forward when I was laying in bed, my back broke and all that, she was giving me money because she had a successful company. She came to where I was to take care of me because she was able to take 2 to 3 months off work because, her company was already on autopilot, and, she never stopped earning because she wasn't there. So so she's an inspiration to me. And also, my dad, I understand definitely where he's coming from. Is the mindset everybody has, but I was raised with that mindset, and then it took a few changes, a few things that I had to see in order for me to change my mindset. And so I think that how you were raised is definitely it definitely adds a lot of value. If you're raised thinking that everything is possible, and if you're raised thinking that if you put enough work, you happen and go into that, just having that no quitting mentality, I think that builds a strong mindset. Last night I was actually doing some work, and the kid was drawing and whatever. He's like, "Hey, is it true that the word impossible doesn't exist?" I was like, "Where'd you hear that?" "My teacher said that today, that the word impossible doesn't exist." And I was like, "I like your tuition already." Okay, all right, good money being invested. Great. Uh,
Yeah.
and I was like, I mean, the actual word does exist, but I mean, what it really means is that you can be anything you want if you put enough work into it. It's like, can I be an astronaut? Of course you can. I don't see why not. Just like figure out what you want. That's your goal, and then reverse engineer that and build a strategy. And once you've built that strategy, like just stick to it, follow it. Yes, you might need to reevaluate what you're doing, and I encourage you to do that on a weekly basis possible. But change, uh, kind of like the day-to-day aspects. Don't change your goal. Don't change. I mean, trust the process. And at least that's how I was raised. I was raised in a don't quit mentality. Never quit. If you start something, you gotta finish it. Don't quit. So both my parents taught me that, never quit. So I think it does help out a lot, especially because when you're trying to build something, sometimes your bigger enemy is you, especially when you don't have a boss, when you don't have nobody pushing you. Sometimes it's easy to let yourself down because you're leaning with yourself. If you don't have that strong mindset, it's easy to get lost.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, awesome. We got one last question for you.
All right, shoot.
Here we go. So
Go.
before I ask this question, I want you to keep in mind a person who has a fixed mindset. They're not willing to accept help, and they're not willing to accept change. So in Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about the 4 laws of changing your behavior. And the laws are to make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. With that context in mind, and the avatar I just kind of told you to keep in your head, how can we, you and I, create an environment that makes it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying for that avatar to make the choice that will change their life?
Wow, that's a tough question, man. First person that came to my mind again was my dad. He was a extremely old school guy, the type of, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Just typical old-fashioned guy, redneck tendencies and all of that. So, he was like that. So I don't imagine. I think what could we do? We'll make it attractive. We'll make it attractive to who, under what standards. Make it. What was the other one? Sorry.
We had make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. And you
Well,
don't have
let's
to
say.
answer for all 4 of them. It's just like, what's 1 or 2 actions that we can do to make one of those things more possible for people?
Okay. I think that, do is, this is probably what I would do. I'm not sure if this is the right answer. I would probably just, lay out the benefits, but I also would probably try to see, hey, listen, man, I want you to come to this conclusion. I'm a big believer in, hey, you know what? You're gonna make your own choices. I cannot help you or force you to do anything. I can be there if you want to, but change has to come from you. So I would probably, do like those sessions in which I ask you, hey, listen, man, are you really like what are your dreams? Like helping people find themselves. I think that that's the most attractive thing. It's attractive. It's obvious because hey, you know what? That's my dream. It's attractive because well, it's obviously your dream, and and I will probably help people, try to build a community around and helping people find their dreams and not being afraid of. My dad was probably told the entire life what he needed to do, which, also makes sense. He was a police officer for 10 years. So he was always told what to do and to follow the system, to follow the rules. Uh, and I'm not saying break the laws. No, of course not. I'm just saying don't be afraid of thinking outside the box. Don't be afraid of going through what you want.
Except for taxes. Don't pay taxes. No, I'm just playing.
No, man. Well, that's what Cardone would say. But yeah, no, I mean, I think I would probably encourage people to be real with themselves about what they want, right? And I think that nothing is more obvious or attractive than that. And just fight for your dreams. You know what I mean? Like go at it and just basically build that community around really working towards happiness, however that looks for you, as long as you're not harming anybody else. Work for your happiness and be unapologetic about it. Again, as long as you're not harming anybody else, right? So I think that that probably changing, like rewiring the mindset, doing that. So I probably would say, again, mindset is the most important thing, and then uncovering what you really want, finding out what you really want. Then, yeah, that's probably how I think some hard-headed people like him and me might change.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that answer. Well, awesome, Carlos. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, my man, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. And again, I'm honored to be here, just share a little bit of things that I've been through, what I've learned over the years, and I don't know, man. Hopefully, connect with like-minded people, and hopefully see if somebody can be inspired by this or whatever, or at least finds it interested enough to finish the podcast. Man, I'll be glad.
Of course, I love it. Well, is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm always down to, talking about businesses and, mindset and, building that community. Again, you were telling me what I needed to do to get to know Grant Cardone, probably, get a little bit more into syndications and that kind of stuff, raising capital. So if you're gonna give me your money, I'll welcome it. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, but I'm not.
Yeah, for real
I
though.
mean, yeah, man. Like, so yeah, I mean, kind of, I'm down talking about businesses and we can and how we can help each other and everybody else, whoever wants to join in, achieving those goals. I think I'm always game for that.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. If you guys are listening to this and you loved what Carlos had to say, make sure to hit him up. All the ways to contact him will be down in the show notes. As we always ask, go ahead and shoot this podcast to 1 to 3 people you know need to hear this message. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we're out.